People are getting desperate. The economy is facing new challenges every day, and Americans are realizing it's getting harder and harder to cope with the massive spikes in their costs to live. A growing number have turned to crime. In Gray News, according to a recent article, Walmart CEO warned that a rise in supermarket theft could result in store closures and increased cost for goods. Doug McMillon, CEO of Walmart, told CNBC that theft is a bigger problem now than it has historically been in Walmart stores. According to McMillon, the business has security procedures in place at each location. He added that part of the equation is collaborating with regional law enforcement. To avoid Walmart stores closing and pricing increases in the future, McMillon said, local jurisdictions may need to take more aggressive action in managing cases of stealing. Theft is on the rise. I was just getting out of my car last fall when I saw 3 young men running from the Big Five I was going into. They were running with hands full and jumped in a car where someone was ready to drive. They sped off and I went inside. The cashier told me these men just stole hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise. At Walmart, I witnessed someone starting the checkout process and then just walking off pushing a cart full of expensive items. I watched as a Walmart worker helplessly tried to ask the thief to stop. I was surprised. I had never seen this happen. Have you seen more thefts recently? Comment down below. So what would happen if this trend continues? It's obvious. Prices are going up, hardest hit stores will most likely close, leaving many communities in store deserts. Walmart loses $3 billion in annual US income due to employee and consumer theft. That is massive. Target, a different national supermarket, has also seen a rise in stealing, according to a CNBC story from last month. According to Target CFO Michael Fidelke, organized retail theft makes up the majority of loss and has cost the company more than $400 million in the current fiscal year. As the world's largest retailer, it is facing a troubling future. The company's CEO Doug McMillon recently warned that shoplifting could lead to store closures and higher prices for customers. This warning also comes as 7 North Texas Walmarts are headed for foreclosure and more than half a dozen stores across the country are at risk of closing due to theft. The retail giant has been struggling with rising costs and declining sales in recent years. In addition to shoplifting, Walmart is also facing increasing competition from online retailers such as Amazon and other discount stores like Dollar General. This has put pressure on the company to keep prices low while still maintaining profitability. The economic downturn caused by the pandemic has exacerbated Walmart's problems. With unemployment rates soaring, many people have had to cut back on their spending, which has led to fewer customers in stores. This has resulted in lower sales and profits for Walmart, making it difficult for them to stay afloat. In addition, Walmart is facing an increase in debt due to its acquisition of Flipkart last year. The company borrowed billions of dollars to fund the purchase, which has put additional strain on its finances. As a result, Walmart may be forced into bankruptcy if it can find a way to reduce its debt or increase its revenues soon. It remains unclear whether or not Walmart will be able to survive this crisis, but one thing is certain: the retail giant needs to take action quickly if it wants to avoid going bankrupt. It must find ways to reduce costs and increase sales if it hopes to remain competitive in today's market. So what happens when Walmart pulls out? This wasn't a big issue up until recently because Walmart store closure weren't common. However, the business revealed closure plans for over 269 outlets last week, including more than 100 tiny express stores that mostly catered to rural small towns. The closest stores of necessities may soon be 50 miles or more away from some towns, which frequently have a large elderly population. However, more than just a neighborhood grocery store was devastated. It may be argued that entire communities have been destroyed by Walmart's determination to invade rural areas, wipe out the competition, and then suddenly close its doors. Many communities never wanted Walmart in the first place. When Walmart decides to open a new site, the firm frequently has to battle its way into town in the localized version of a civil war between pro and anti-Walmart factions. Traffic clogs, environmental issues, public safety, absentee landlordism, poor public relations, low wages and benefits, and predatory pricing are some of the objections raised by opponents. Some city councils have refused developers' requests for permits if they wanted to build a Walmart within their project, but Walmart usually wins in the end. Communities are now left wondering where they will go to get milk, eggs, and other staples. The economy is degrading daily as people become emboldened and desperate to survive. But what happens when they have nowhere to steal from? What happens when miles and miles of rural communities have no resources? A little known aspect affecting consumers is Walmart's bullying tactics to their suppliers, which in these hard economic times could seal the fate of the giant. The world has changed and Walmart is still playing the same game. Through trade credit, which manufacturers offer to retail purchasers as a bridge financing option to bridge the gap between procuring items for inventory and final sale of the goods. These huge corporations effectively borrow money from their smaller vendors. Large retailers frequently request extended payment terms, such as requiring 60 days to pay instead of 30, and smaller vendors typically abide by the requests made by their significant customers. The slight delay in payment days has a substantial impact on the operations of these smaller businesses. According to the study, the implicit cost of trade credit borrowing by large firms. The much smaller credit-constrained suppliers of large investment-grade firms like Walmart and Home Depot, which can easily borrow money on the capital markets, frequently provide funding to these firms. According to a recent study that looks at the effects of this financing model, small suppliers are put under pressure, which results in cash shortage and causes them to reduce their capital expenditures. According to research co-author Justin Murfin, assistant professor of the finance at the Yale School of Management, when a company like Walmart, Target, or Costco pays more slowly, their tiny suppliers can't immediately borrow additional money, so they cut back on expenditure. They decrease cost, invest less money, and take other measures to support their much larger customers. As a result, businesses who might have good initiatives to invest in are unable to do so because they are using their limited cash to assist these large customers who are not constrained by financing issues. So the question is, will Walmart be able to survive this recession the same way it thrived in 2008? It seems like the current economic climate is a little different this time. Walmart suppliers who are still suffering from 2020 don't have as much room to accommodate Walmart's lower price demands. So the real question is, will Walmart adapt, or will online companies further remove Walmart from their profits? The dire state of the economy has made Americans desperate as theft is on the rise, causing a cascading effect on the retail giant, raising prices for already struggling customers, less workers due to quiet quitting, and shorter open hours. Walmart this recession is in a whole new playing field.